Okay, guys, welcome to today's next level plus open Q&A session here at Inside Real Estate. I just want to mention, we've been kind of doing this for probably 2 or 3 weeks now, right, Christian? We kind of have our new calendar in place.
Yep.
And you guys can always see the calendar right at the top right. For those of you who are next level members, I was out a week or so you might be feeling a little shift in the content and what we're doing, but just know that these sessions, which occur Monday through Thursday, we are generally going to have something next level. We're going to start there, and some days it'll be really advanced, and we might take up a lot of sessions. Sometimes it'll just be something basic, and then we'll go right into the open Q&A. If you're attending this and you feel like what we're talking about is way over your head and you're not ready for it, definitely check out the quick starts, which occur at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Monday to Thursday. That's kind of like a basic boot camp.
Yeah. If you guys are looking for more of just like a structured training of how to use this system, the Agent Quick Start Guide, you can learn this system within a few days. It's that easy.
Yeah, we're going to be a little more unstructured on these sessions and have a little fun and get a little wacky and outside of the box. So
yeah. I don't know if any of you guys have been in the previous sessions, but they are really fun. Like we look at some really interesting stuff to like combine, like Heather the other day was talking about Canva a lot. And I think that's a really top-notch product. So
in general, that will segue into the recordings are generally being placed on YouTube. Christian, you've got that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube. And then also at the end of this meeting, guys, if you want just a more immediate view of this, we do have a Zoom link for you on a Google Doc, so you can just view the recording there as well. Yeah.
So you'll get the Zoom link, and then the insiderealestate.com/webinars is our YouTube channel. So let's hop into the topic today. I actually have a lot to cover, so I might go fast. And the topic is Introduction to Retargeting with kvCORE. And I guess we should start out by just explaining what retargeting is. I would expect that most of the people watching this have heard that term at this point, but the long and short of it is retargeting is what happens when you go to Amazon, when you go to Walmart, when you go to almost any business website these days, anybody who's kind of sophisticated with their marketing, and then you leave and then their stuff follows you around, right? So that pair of shoes seems to stalk you all over the web. Now, we can do this as smaller advertisers in real estate, and a lot of our competitors are doing this, just so you know, where they visit our website, they visit our kvCORE site, and then we follow them around with a message or two that kind of gets them back into our fold. So why should you do it? So I like to probably started talking about retargeting more than 5 years ago on these webinars. And it was probably less important then. Back then, 5-6 years ago, a big reason to do it was because none of your competitors were. It was kind of cool. It was a big competitive advantage. Now I think that you kind of have to do it to stay on par with your competitors. It's going to be more and more the case. So the first reason is because you don't want to fall behind. The second reason, more practically, is that retargeting really works. And the reason it works is that it helps you accomplish a bunch of micro touches. If we liken this to Gary Keller's, 33 touches in his, what was that book? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, that most of us have probably read. He talks about 33 touches, right, in the course of the year, 8 by 8, 33. Well, with retargeting, you can establish thousands of micro touches very affordably because the impressions at Facebook or Google, they're actually not that expensive. And the cost to get somebody who maybe opted in and visited your real estate website to see a video from you is actually really low. And the reason we would want to accomplish a bunch of micro touches would be to build top of mind status, right? So people know, like, and trust us over time, even if it's subconscious, so that when they're ready, they call us, right? To buy, list or buy. So, and basically what retargeting does is it helps round out your follow-up, right? So this is a follow-up item. So if you have texts, emails going out through kvCORE, through your smart campaigns, it rounds out your follow-up. This gives you some other channels that you can hit people on, right? So not only are they getting emails and texts from you, they're seeing these ads on multiple platforms that reinforce your brand or do further calls to action. So any questions there in the chat about the definition? How'd I do, Christian? Did I forget anything?
I'm not seeing anything that you've forgotten, but one of the biggest things I found out about retargeting was that a lot of business does come from it, like a surprising amount. I've even heard that the majority of some agents' business, like 60% of the leads that they were getting, were because of the retargeting ads or retargeting nurture stuff that they had. So it can affect a large portion of your business. So I would definitely try and take all this in.
I bet you every single person listening to this video has bought something this year, in this calendar year, that you initially visited the website, you forgot about it, but you saw the ad on Facebook and you clicked through and bought it. I know I do it all the time.
100%.
So that's the why here. And with real estate, we are in a position where most of the people we interact with, our cold leads, are not ready. They're not ready, willing, and able all at the same time. Right? It's kind of hard to get somebody to do a transaction, and we're paid accordingly. You know, it's a long sales cycle. There's the transaction side is healthy. You know, we're paid well. You know, but in order to get there, we need to make multiple touches. We can't just count on a lead coming in and hopping in our car this weekend. It just only works like that a very small percentage of the time. So that's the why. All right. So now I want to jump into, now that I've kind of got you guys all sold and nodding your heads and saying, okay, I get it. Let's, how do we do it? I'm going to actually get into the nitty gritty and walk through some of the steps to actually run a retargeting campaign. And even though there's multiple steps, it's not that complicated. The only thing that I'll mention before I start this is that if you're watching this replay later, some of the things I'm going to show on my screen are inevitably going to be different or outdated. And you may need to go to YouTube and say, hey, how do I install my Facebook pixel, for example? And I'll confess, I actually had to do, whoops. The new phone, volume's on, Christian. Sorry, guys.
No worries, man.
I thought it was muted. So I actually had to go and Google today how to do the Facebook pixel because they're always moving it around and I couldn't find it when I was preparing for this. So it changes very frequently. All right, let's first get our Facebook pixel installed. And this assumes that you have a business account at Facebook. So you do need to go to business.facebook.com. This assumes that you're probably already running Facebook ads or at least have the account. If you don't, just go to facebook.com/business or business.facebook.com and set up an ad account. Okay, so you'll need to do that first. Once that is done, I'm going to hop on into my business account. So another window over here. Just go to that real quick. I dragged it over to the side. I might have put it down. Okay, just go to it again here. Okay. Sorry, guys. So we'll get into our Facebook account. I use this one. Just a tip, I like to save my links to this stuff in bookmarks. I'm a huge fan of, having these folders here. It really makes things easier to find in most cases. Now, once you're in your Facebook business account, you're going to click on this little hamburger guy right here. And you're going to go to Events Manager. What we're looking for the first step is our Facebook pixel. We need to install it in kvCORE. So I'm going to go to Events Manager. And then we'll get to our pixel settings. Now you should have one already set up. If you don't have anything here, go ahead and create it. There should be a button to create a pixel and a wizard will walk you through that. But what we're trying to get to is where we have the pixel created. And then we want to come to this middle section right here. You can kind of see me clicking where it says Add Events right here. And we're going to click from a new website. And then this is what we're trying to get to. They totally bury this. It used to be so much easier, but we want to click Install Code Manually. And then I'm able to copy my base code right here. So copy it. And then we can take this code now and we can get it into kvCORE. So I'm going to hop over to kvCORE. I'm going to go to Web and IDX and go to Website Settings. Right here. And I'm going to scroll down right to the head section. It's about a third of the way down where it says Custom Header. And I'm going to paste my pixel code right in this section. Now, if you have other stuff in here, don't delete the other stuff. We get that question a lot. Sometimes if you had custom design done or anything, you don't want to delete anything that's in there that somebody else might have done for you or that you have added. You can just install the pixel alongside this info. So we'll install it here and click save. So once that happens, your website will now show the Facebook pixel on it. And I'm going to get a little geeky, maybe a little more advanced here, and just show you how you know that it's happening. So if I go to my website, you can use something called the Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome extension. Right here. Let's see if I can install this. I've been using Brave. It is in there. So let's do this. And it'll look right here. See this Facebook Pixel Helper? So when I go to my site, you can see it's now lit up, and it might be really small. I apologize for that, but you'll see it says 5, and it'll show me all the pixels that are installed. And one of the reasons I wanted to show you guys this was because we actually do install a few pixels globally on all kvCORE sites for use with our marketplace advertising options. You don't have to worry, multiple pixels can coexist. But if you see multiple, that's why. But you're just going to be looking for the pixel ID number that you just copied over from your Facebook account, just to make sure that it made it on there. Okay, so I'm back in my events manager, and my pixel number, if I come back here, you should see a number in see at the top right, you'll actually see this number in the code. And you just want to make sure that when you're on your website, that it shows up here. If you can also just view the source on your site instead of using this code and just look for that number. So I could do view source and then do a Control F, search my whole website, and kind of pop that number in here and see if it pops up. So that's a little bit TMI, like probably more info than me, but you can check that it's there. If you save it here, it's probably there, and you can trust that it's saved. Yeah, and thanks for Christian dropped an article that explains it. Hopefully, Christian, I haven't looked at that article. Hopefully, it's up to date with the way Facebook looks now. If not, we'll get that updated after this webinar.
It looks fairly close, at least from what I can see from the images. But it also does include a link to the Facebook Helper extension as well.
Great. Now, I'll mention, even if you don't plan to run retargeting ads right now, I would do this anyway. One of the reasons is that Facebook will actually start collecting that data even before you're ready to run the retargeting ads. So you might say today, like, oh, I'm not quite ready for this. I'm still learning kvCORE, or, you know, I'm just trying to get fresh leads before I can retarget them. Just know that you can actually start collecting the data now and then show retargeting ads later. Rich is asking a good question. Will this put people that engage with it into the kvCORE database? No. So what this does is it puts them into Facebook's evil database, right? Facebook is tracking what they do on your site, but you're able to go back later and say, hey, anybody who has visited such and such page on my website, I want to show them an ad. So there's advantages to get it installed, even if you're not going to run ads until later, because Facebook can start to track people who are on your site. Okay. So that's how to do the Facebook pixel install. And then I'm going to show Google as well. And then we're going to go back and run retargeting ads on both of those channels. So for Google, it's similar. You want your Google Ads account. That's ads.google.com. You're going to want to hop into the account. So I'll just go into one here. All right. I'm going to throw this out the window. Okay. If anybody knows how to totally mute a Pixel 6, let me know, because I haven't figured it out yet. I'll have to get my teenagers to figure it out. So here we are in Google, and then I'm going to go to tools and settings. Now, if your Google doesn't look like this, it might be that you need to change the view. See this right here? A lot of times they try to launch you in this basic view. You can switch it and you'll get this kind of advanced look. And pretty much anything we train on here is going to be in the advanced view. So you're going to go to this view. We're going to go to tools and settings up top. And then I'm going to go to conversions right here under measurement. And I'm going to create a new conversion action. Get rid of the guide. I'll click new conversion action. I'm going to choose website. I'll put my domain in here, kvCORE domain. Okay. This is new. I haven't seen them do this before. It wants me to scan it. I'm just doing that out of curiosity. Okay. And then add a page load conversion action here. This is actually a little bit different. And what I want to do is I want to say, hey, if somebody, I want to choose submit lead form.
Hey Ryan, Veronica's asking, is a Google Ads account free? I think the account is free, but in order to get any actual ads, you still have to pay for that.
Right, you'll pay for the ads. But yeah, but the account itself is free.
Mhm.
I'm struggling here, guys. Probably the last time I was in here was a week ago at best. So add a page load conversion action if, let's see, and I will just say page view. Okay, and then URL contains. So that's what you'll do. Page load conversion action, page view, URL contains, and then you just put your website in here. I'm just going to do ryanhartman.forever, Florida, realestate.com. Add, save and continue. And what I'm really trying to get to is the global snippet that they give us. So once I've created that, I'm going to go into any of these. Again, I'm struggling a little because I didn't expect this to look different. It looked the same way for years. But I'm going to click into one of my the conversion action I created, and I'm going to go to tag setup, which is what I'm looking for. And it says install the tag yourself. And the one I need in order to do retargeting is to click on the global site tag right here. So I'll take that, copy it, and then come right over into that same section in the header and put it right next to my Facebook pixel code. Oh, I like Rich's question. I'm going to address your question. Just a second, Rich. So you would put it right here. I'm not going to install this again, but you put it there and save it, just like I did on Facebook. So Rich is asking, is Facebook is tracking your data? Do they have the ability to sell you the data to your competition directly? So your competition does not have the ability to go in there and say, I would like to target anybody who visited Rich's website. I can't do that right now. That'd be awesome if I could as an advertiser. But no, they're not doing that. What they can do though, Facebook can say, hey, anybody who's interested in real estate, so me as an advertiser, and we don't know what Facebook is doing, but I would assume that Facebook is using your pixel data to build those audiences. Okay, just let's just assume the worst of them. So Rich, it's nothing to really worry about, you know what I mean? Because there's lots of different real estate websites. They're doing the same thing if they are doing it, they're doing it to realtor.com, they're doing it to Zillow. But nobody can explicitly target what you're doing. Now your competitors can look at the ads you're running on your Facebook page. So Facebook does show, you can go to any Facebook business page and see what ads that advertiser is running. The actual creatives, but you can't target the people who are going to their website. Hope that makes sense. Good question. So, and I will mention, you know, Facebook, Apple is making this harder, right? You guys heard all the iOS stuff that happened this year with iOS 14 and 15. You know, some of these providers are saying, hey, we don't want to allow our users' data to be shared in this way. So this retargeting is becoming a little more limited on some channels, but it still works. All right, so I've got my Google Pixel installed. I've got my Facebook Pixel installed. And now the next thing I need to do on both channels is I need to create audiences that I can then target and run ads to. Okay, so I've got the pixels and I'm going to run retargeting ads. So the first step on Facebook, create audience, run ad. Those are the steps. So let's create the audience first. I'm going to go into Facebook. I'm intentionally going to go into a different Facebook account because it'll give me more examples to work with. Okay, and And I'm going to go up here. We're going to look for our little hamburger guy again at the top left in our menu. And I'm going to look for audiences. Now, sometimes the audiences will show up in the top left. Sometimes they won't. But you can always scroll down and then it'll be under advertise. And I'm going to go to audiences. Now, Facebook gives you a number of different ways that you can target people and retarget them. We're going to focus on website-based audiences for now, but there are other ways. So up here, I can click Create Audience. I'm going to choose Custom Audience, and you'll see I can use my website as a source. And just know that you can also upload customer lists and make that an audience. So whether or not they actually visited your website, if you have a past customer list, if they've watched stuff on Facebook, if they've watched a video or they've interacted with a lead form or done other things on Facebook, you can also retarget people based on that, even if they never hit your website. But for the purposes of today and interacting with your kvCORE site, we're going to focus on website right here. So I'll click Next. And then I'm going to name an audience right here. And I'm going to start with all website visitors. And I'll say everybody who's visited my website in the last 7 days. So I'll retention 7 days. And I'll name this 7 days Ryan's kvCORE website. And then I could create that. I could also create a 30-day and a 90 and a 180. I like having a short one for people who just found my site. So I would suggest maybe you create that 3-day, a 7-day, and then maybe have a longer. I think 180 is the limit. If I hover here, yeah, the max time is 180. So maybe have 2 that are like all visitors and then 180. The other thing you can do is you can say, hey, people who visited specific web pages. So I might do sell.php. If the URL contains sell.php, that means they were on my sell page on my website. Or if they visited a specific MLS number, right, a specific property, we can get really granular and make an audience of people who visited that list, your latest listing. Or if the page contains recruit.php, that's our stock recruiting page. So I'll just do the sell.php, and I'll call this one visited Ryan's sell page. Okay. So the possibilities are endless. You can create as many audiences as you want in Facebook ads. And I'm just going to, for example's sake today, I'm just going to use this visited Ryan's sell page, create that audience. All right, so once the audience is created, the pixel is going to start to grab people. So you can see up here, it says pending, size not available yet. Right? And you can see most of these are below 1,000. So I'm not spending a ton of money on each of these individual sources, but you'll notice here, we've got our waterfront audience, which I talk about a lot, our waterfront lead form openers. We've had 1,300 to 1,400 people open up that lead form. So you can start to see it populate here. If it's a small audience, it'll always say below 1,000, but just know, even if there's one person who has visited your website, that sell page, they are now able to be shown ads in Facebook. So you can create the audience today before you even start running the ad. And then as soon as you start running the initial ad that gets them to the sell page, they'll be added to that audience. So now that we have our audience, let's go ahead and run the ad. Go back to the main page for this account. Okay, I'm going to create a new ad. And we can choose any of these objectives. I'm just going to choose a simple traffic. Now, for those of you who do a lot of Facebook advertising, you may get away with retargeting with not putting the special category for housing. But if you have anything real estate related in the copy of that ad, it's probably best to have it there anyway. So always remember to put your special category in there like so. All of this stuff you can leave as is. And now we're in the ad set section of the ad. And I'll call this visited sell.php page, just so I know what it is. And then this is where I choose that audience. It's about halfway down, it's under audience. And I can choose in custom audiences, if I click in that box, you can see the last audience I created will show up right up top, visited Ryan's sell page. So what I'm telling Facebook is that I want this ad to show only the people who are in that audience, which means they visited this page on my website, because when they visited this page, you look up in the browser, I know it's really small for you guys, but you can see it has that sell.php in it. So I can show these people who visited this page a specific ad. And that's where things start to get really powerful. So I'll leave everything else the same. In real estate, we can't really change our age ranges or anything like that, but this is pretty targeted because only the people who saw that page, right, are going to see this ad. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll simply write my ad. So possibilities are endless. My favorite thing to do that all of us can do is to run a simple, bring my camera back up here. This is just record a simple video that goes something like this. Hi, Ryan Hartman here with Forever Florida Real Estate. Just want to say a quick thank you for checking the value of your house on my site recently. If you want a more detailed report, I'd be happy to put that together for you. All you need to do is click the link below, or just here, my cell number will be near this video. Just shoot me a quick text with your address and I'll send you a very detailed report, 20+ pages that shows what your property might sell for in today's market. When you're on my website, you probably got a computer generated number. I realize sometimes those lag behind the market are not accurate, but if you want a real report, my team and I will get that prepared for you within a few hours. Just go ahead and text me your address. So you guys get the point, right? You do something really personal where you're staring at the camera. What that does is they may have visited your site, they may have opted in, they might be starting to get videos from you, emails and texts from you, right, from your kvCORE follow-up. But this allows them to put a face to the name, right, and hear your voice and engage with you in different modes and modalities. And it'll either one, make them know, like, and trust you more and want to work with you, or in some cases, I've benefited from this. They'll see the backwards hat, right, or they'll hear maybe I have a little Northeastern accent or whatever. Something will turn them off and they won't work with me. And I think that's good too, right? Because you don't really want to be. Well, great things about real estate is we can work with whoever we want. We don't want to be stuck working with people who we're not going to vibe with. So it kind of filters people for you by showing them that retargeting video. So I would definitely recommend you do that. Another approach to take on the creative is to just send them straight back to the thing they interacted with the first time. So I might run an ad that's like, check your home value, right? And then basically just say, click to see what a buyer might pay now, right? I'm doing this really quickly because we have a lot to cover, but you would run the ad and you just send them right back to that same page they were on, because they don't always complete the action when they initially came to your site. But the meat of this for today is functionally, structurally, how to get that ad run. And the answer is you create that audience and then you choose that audience as your target in the dashboard here. And then hopping back over to Google, it's very similar. The stuff's just in a slightly different place. We'll go up here to tools and settings again, and we'll go to audience manager, like so. And then we will add an audience, website visitors up top. And it's very similar, right? Page URL contains sell.php. We name it visited sell page. Now, one thing with Google, and I don't like it at all, is they actually, I think they hold your audience. They don't let you use it until you have 100 people in that audience. So Facebook, if there's 1 or 2 people pixeled, you can start showing ads to them right away. Google holds the audience. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying though for small advertisers, right? Because you need to wait some time before the audience is ripe and ready to mature. But it doesn't hurt. You can start building this now, even if you don't plan to spend the money on an ad right now to drive the traffic. You can at least go build the audience so it starts building those impressions. That would be a reason to do that. And then I'd create the audience. And then similar to in Facebook, what I did in Facebook, I would go run my ad in Google. And I don't have a lot of time today, guys, to like go through every step of running the ad in Google. So I'm just going to run through the wizard here. Alan's asking a good question. Can we upload a list in Google? Yes, you can. Again, it'll try to match. It doesn't find everybody, but you definitely can do that in Google. You can upload a customer list. So I'll click continue. Maybe I'll be able to show you that here in just a second. So my goal is leads. My goodness, they have definitely changed some things around in the last couple of weeks. campaign type is display. So I want to show you display. I like display for retargeting and video for retargeting on Google. I'm not going to send them to a keyword-based search, right? They've already been to my website. So I like display and video. Display is those banner ads that follow you around. They seem to be everywhere you look. So I'll pick standard display, continue. But I just want to show you guys where you choose that audience to target as you go through the wizard. Next, it's going to be down in this targeting section. I'm clicking over on the left side to targeting. Add targeting. And then right here, it's where we get our options. And I'm clicking to edit. They definitely changed the way this looked. And then you can browse. They put it all in this section, but your audience will be here. You see Ryan's subdomain visitors is in here. If I search sell.php, I forget if I named it that, but if you search your audience, it should show up in here, the one that you created. Now, Google has all kinds of other targeting stuff that you can go into. As you just saw, you can target people looking at other real estate websites. It's not quite retargeting, but just know you can. And if I click browse on the top right, it'll actually take me to my custom audience segments right here. Let's see. As far as I knew, that's where that was. Combined segments. Oh, how they interacted with your business, your data and segments. Sorry, guys. It's right here under the browse, though. And then under website visitors, there we go. There's all the audiences I've created in my visited sell page. So it's a little bit of clicking around and finding, but just for the purposes of this webinar, just know the framework, right? You need to get the pixel installed so it starts collecting the data. Then you need to go create the audience, and then you run the ad targeting the audience. Right. I'll just put install pixel. Pixel. So this is making pretty good sense now. And Alan, I'm going to try to show you how you would upload a customer list. I believe that is actually under tools and settings, audience manager. And then I think there's an option to upload a customer list. So if I hit plus, yes, there it is. You can see right here, list of customer data that you've collected. And then you can upload a file. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Alan's saying that solves 100 minimum. Yeah, that'll help. Yep. For that specific audience, that specific audience might be big enough. So, and remember, they're only going to match on data they have. So the emails your leads have given you might not match what Google has. Creepily, it probably does in a lot of cases. these big tech companies have our data, but yes, you can match on these different things. So definitely worth doing, guys. It's a little bit of work now, but try to get those audiences created and get those pixels installed. So that's the main thing. Facebook and Google, not too complicated. I'm not going too deep on creatives today, but other than to say a simple thank you video, a simple picture of yourself with your phone number, right? If you don't want to do a video, will go a long way, because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to reinforce the follow-ups that kvCORE is already doing for us and that you're doing. You're calling people when you get a new lead. kvCORE is sending them emails. You're setting up automated property alerts. You have smart campaigns going out. This is all kind of coming to them through the normal channels, email, text, phone. And now they're chilling out. They're sitting on the couch at night watching Netflix. Their wife's watching some show they're not interested in. They're sitting there browsing on Facebook, and there you are. That same agent who sent them an email an hour or two ago is on video saying hello. And even if at that point they don't think to themselves, well, I need to call this guy, what happens is in 3 months from now, when he gets a job transfer or whatever it might be, and the house needs to be sold, you are the top of mind agent. So, so a suggestion from Alan is to use dynamic IDX content to the retargeting contact. Yeah, we're getting there. We can actually now run. I've done a couple of webinars on using the carousel ads, the dynamic carousel. It's not exactly dynamic. It shows all the listings of the company, but we're getting a little better there, showing them the exact listing they looked at. I actually had a product called Exact Intent in 2015 that was 5 years ahead of its time. That got sunsetted because nobody understand what we were talking about. But I know exactly what you're saying there, Alan. It's a very good idea. Yeah. So what Alan's talking about is if somebody searches a specific listing, Facebook will allow you to set up ads that follow people around based on the listings they were looking at on your site. And we're working internally to kind of offer that as a marketplace option. Yeah, based on the property alert. Now you can manually kind of do it if you have listings and you want to set up audiences based on a URL being visited. So one way I might do that is I might say, hey, I've got this new listing. I might run a bunch of Facebook traffic at the specific property page for that listing. And then I would set up a retargeting audience based on the URL having that MLS number in it and run that ad. So Rich asks, can a pixel be set up to interact with a geographic farm? No, it doesn't. No, that would more be like you're just targeting people within a certain area, you know, using Facebook's targeting options. But no, unless you already have those names of people and you want to upload them as a customer list, then you could upload your farm. You know, for those of you using Nosy Neighbor, I don't know, maybe that's an option. If you have that data, give it a shot. You can kind of run your own retargeting alongside what Nosy does. Nosy kind of does the Google display portion of that out of the box, right? That's part of what Nosy is trying to do. Okay, so I'm just going to mention a few other options, guys. Just know that I like Google Display. I like YouTube videos for retargeting. I like videos a lot on Facebook too. If you're doing Facebook, you can also retarget on Instagram, right? Because Instagram is owned by Facebook, and you can access that from your dashboard. So just what I showed you today, you can actually run retargeting ads basically on 4 main channels: Facebook, Instagram, Google's display network, which can basically put you on sites, millions of sites all over the web, whoever's carrying the Google Display Pixel, and then Google Video, which is also known as YouTube. So you can also show ads on YouTube, right? And then another channel that's near and dear to my heart is postal mail. So thanks.io, which a lot of you guys know, I'm a co-founder of. It's in the marketplace. Thanks.io was built to be a postal mail retargeting product that basically sends postal mail to people visiting who are ending up in your database as leads. And we recently, pretty coincidental, I wasn't even thinking of this when I scheduled the retargeting because we had so many requests at the conference last week. But coincidentally, we've juiced at thanks.io our website snippet. For those of you guys who are familiar, I'll show you very quickly. It's working a little too good. But basically, we have this little snippet that you can install for thanks.io that collects information about the visitors on your website. And we're a little blown away, but we can now collect emails and phones too. So that's in the last few days for those of you who use thanks.io. But very similar, this is a kind of retargeting. They visited your website, we collected the contact info, and then we have the email and the phone number. I'll probably be doing separate content and a webinar about this, but you can zap that info back out into kvCORE if you want to. So, and also send direct mail and you know, other things. But just keep in mind, postal mail is a very powerful way to retarget, because so far everything we've talked about has been digital. They come to your website, they opt in, they're getting property alerts again, they're getting smart campaigns, you're calling them. Now they're seeing your video on YouTube, they're seeing it on Facebook, you're retargeting, and then a week later, bam, they get a postcard in the mail from you, or they get a sealed letter in the mail from you, right? And it really just makes you look like you're on top of your game, even though you might only be spending a few bucks a day on your advertising altogether, but it really makes it look like you're on top of your game and you're hitting them from multiple channels. So that's postal mail. And then just a couple of done for you marketplace options, right, in kvCORE. So if we go to marketplace, we have built retargeting into the Facebook AI advertising and retargeting. Basically what this means is these ads will run on Facebook and get people to opt in to see property lists in your area, but a portion of the budget allocated here is also showing ads to the people who have already hit your website and become leads. So that's why it says and retargeting. It actually calls them back in and keeps showing them ads. We also have our Google display. I'll just type display in here. These are all under the leads section, I believe. Yeah, Google display branded retargeting. Very simple product, kind of just runs the Google display ad, what I was just showing you. Kind of looks like here, we create you an animated banner. That's me talking, but we create you a nice banner ad that's animated and that follows your visitors around. That's $100 a month. I think it's a kind of pretty easy button way to start retargeting, and just shows to people visiting your website. And then Nosy Neighbor, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, has a nice retargeting component built in where alongside direct mail that's going out in your farm, people are also seeing digital ads wherever they go. So we're building that in, and we're gradually getting more and more retargeting built into, and we're thinking more about retargeting as we build product features here, because it is such a key component, you know, to any funnel. All right, Christian, I talked a lot, but I think I got through it.
Yeah, that's a lot of crazy stuff that I just learned here.
It used to be like really next level stuff, and I'll let you talk in a second, but I'm actually starting to think we all need to know this stuff now. Like 5 years ago, it was like, whoa. Now it's like, I gotta know how to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been aware of like the pixels and stuff like that and the codes and bringing that in, but the retargeting aspect behind it, I think is, like you said before, the fact that like maybe 5 years ago, nobody was doing it, but now everyone is.
Yeah.
So I am on the same basis with you there. I do think everyone should be learning about this, because really for any business, retargeting is such a vital part of one, the business itself, but also repeat business too. A lot of things that happen with retargeting is that like, oh yeah, I purchased with Ryan last year. My neighbor's looking to sell, and he just talked to me about the valuation of my home because he keeps on sending me that. My neighbor probably has an even better value on theirs. You know, like, you know, things like that with the retargeting as well. Keeping them in the loop, keeping your clients or even your past clients as well, and you know, always be poking, right? that's something to look at.
And we want to stay top of mind. And you know, we didn't mention how this is set it and forget it. You set up that one retargeting ad.
Yeah.
Leveraged. Yep. So, any other questions from anybody? Any feedback? If not, we'll let you guys go. We also, of course, these sessions, we generally don't go for this long in the beginning, but if you have any questions about anything else related to kvCORE, you got Christian and I here for at least another 15 minutes. We'll hang out until everybody's questions answered.
While we're talking about this too, with these ads, do you think it's maybe of a bigger benefit to, I don't know, direct them anywhere to maybe like a squeeze page, landing page, or anything like that? Do you feel like it could definitely help, especially just getting them to the results that they're looking for?
Good question. So depends what you're doing. Some people might not have converted. So if they haven't converted yet, you probably want to take them back to the lead capture thing you were trying to do before. And you can actually, you bring up a point, you can actually include and exclude audiences. So you see here where it says include. Well, I can exclude other audiences. So let's say somebody visited my sell page, but they didn't make it to the page where they got the valuation. There's ways to kind of create an audience for each. So in that case, Christian, I would send them back to opt in again. But in most cases, if we want to keep it simple, just give them your contact info, because they're already getting stuff. So a nice video saying, hey, thanks for checking out my stuff. If you need to reach me personally, here's how to get me. Yeah.
Always leave your imprint on the back of somebody's mind. That way they always just think of you. Yep.
And you could really have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because like what I'll do is I move my office around, and I was looking at some desks recently, right? And the first thing that popped up on my Instagram feed this morning, it was desks from Amazon. That was it. That's all it took. You know, and that's how fast these things can be too. But guess what? I'm already looking at my Instagram again, and I'm seeing that same ad again. You know, the retargeting is there. It builds a lot of traction with business. And the fact that, yeah, like you said, 5 years ago, I would even say like 10 years ago, retargeting was just like not a big thing. But I mean, growing up with commercials and stuff on TV, we always saw like the same commercials, right? And I'm sure you've got kids, right, Ryan? Like, you know, they see those 5 commercials the same time over and over and over again. They're going to want those products. You know, it's kind of crazy how it can work like that too.
You know, my kids love when they see a video of me talking about real estate stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, while they're trying to watch their YouTube videos with their friends. It makes me look really cool. They love it. They don't love it. Dad, I hear him yelling in the other room. Cut it out. Which makes me double down.
Just showing up. Yep.
Yep.
Well, now we're gonna throw this in front of them too. We're gonna call them out here.
Yeah, I was showing the whole webinar.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna tell them to clean their room. Actually, I gotta try that one.
Yeah.
Very targeted. Just on YouTube. Go clean your room. All righty. Yeah. So I don't see any other questions. So
yeah,
Christian, I think we're free to go.
Yeah, it seems like people got a lot of help. And thanks you guys for stopping by. I really like the fact that you guys are interested in so much stuff like this, because one, half of this I just learned, but two, seeing it all applicable in real time as well is very nice.
Yeah, so it's in kvCORE. Remember, your calendar link for all the stuff we're doing is right there in the dashboard at the top right. View the training calendar, let your team know about it. Also, under support and training, we do have our webinar schedule. And we also have our courses are gradually being brought in here. So you can jump right into your courses, and we're rounding out our library. We're gonna have more stuff like this under the next level section as well. So thanks again, cool. Christian. We'll get the replay live and see you guys tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you, Ryan. Have a good one. See you, everyone.
Bye.